Hello everybody, Volamel here with a brief little analysis video I wanted to make after I had skimmed through and watched the LGD versus Miraculous Youngster game from China's OWPS very recently. 6-6 series, I definitely recommend it if you have the time in between contenders and all the other Overwatch that is happening recently. And I wanted to really harp on and drive home this theme of time being a resource and how it is very impactful and it adds up an element of pressure to the other team. On maps and game types other than control, time is a huge resource, and it is very important to be able to not only control the pace of the game, which also controls the time, but also burns down the ability for the other team to be able to generate other tools and other resources if they don't have time to do it, right? So in this particular game, it is on Route 66, and we are going to be focusing on LGD. The theme here is denial. It's all about removing people from the cart. It is about kind of a control-y element, while also not being your typical kind of control comp with like Zarya and Reinhardt. It is again about just basically removing people from the payload. And if we jump into it, we can start to analyze the composition itself. So we have EMP, which basically wins team fights on its own, just because depending on exactly who you EMP, you could get a pick on the Zen. You could remove the tanks from the basically the picture, removing their ability to kind of peel and be a little bit more defensive in nature. You have lots of tempo with Mercy, where if your Winston dies, your D.Va dies, you can res them back up, and they're incredibly sticky in LGD's composition. You have just pure throughput with the Zenyatta, while also adding quite a bit of DPS to a kind of team composition that is lacking a little bit of firepower. And you have two of the more sticky, very tanky tanks in a very odd pun, but they're incredibly sticky, and they deny time on the cart very well. You can pop Primal Rage to just smack people off the cart and jump around and displace people, and then if you D.Va bomb the cart, they literally can't be around it too terribly much. Same goes with Doomfist. If you Meteor Strike the cart after getting a pick, they're not going to be able to stay on the cart, and they're going to have to disengage. Same goes with EMP in a way, where if multiple people get EMP'd, you're not going to be able to do much of anything, so you're going to want to disengage. So jumping into this first fight, the first thing that happens, I don't know if we caught it there, the first thing that happens is this EMP doesn't catch the Zenyatta here, which is pretty big and makes this team fight very costly for LGD. Sombra doesn't catch the Zenyatta here, which is really important to catch that person if you're going to go for the Zenyatta pick. There is kind of this two schools of thought with where EMP should be allocated on the enemy team. Should it be the tanks? Should it be trying to pick off the Zenyatta? It is up for debate. It is kind of a stylistic choice, but again, she should hit quite a bit here. Someone, whoever that is, might be hacked. Sorry, the VOD's not the best quality, but again, it's we'll work with what we have. So going into this first fight again, the Sombra doesn't get the Zen, which makes the fight very costly, but they still manage to kind of get the hold here, which is very important, because the way that this second point is laid out for Route 66 is very advantageous to the defenders, because they have quite a bit of high ground to stand on. They have tons of different little health packs. You have a Mega here. I believe there's one in the Saloon, and I think there's one in this interesting little blue house. If we go a little bit more forward right here, I think there's one here, there's one here, and I believe that's most of them, or that's some of the ones that are more important. If Sombra hacks these, and they do respawn incredibly fast, regardless if they're Mega or Mini, everybody in this general area is going to be able to drop and get a health pack. So these supports up here can drop and get this health pack or this health pack. The tanks and the DPS that's up here, D.Va, Winston, and Doomfist, they can go basically anywhere with their high mobility. One thing that I do want to note for LGD that I think is interesting, and I kind of would like to see this fight play out a little bit differently just for science sake. We are going to see these supports stay up on this bridge, and I would like to see them wrap around to this house just to have a little bit more option on where they rotate to. If they do get dived. If they do get dived, they could drop down here and kind of play around this hacked Mega Health Pack. From this position, if they were to rotate from the bridge to the kind of this little blue teal house, they could drop down again, grab the Mega, they could rotate through the saloon if they wanted to disengage. But they do decide to stay up on this high ground, and they are very far away from the cart and the rest of their team that is going to be playing around the cart, which is disadvantageous in a way because you are safer up here, but you're not able to really stall out and play to your strengths here. And they do they lose the fight, but the way that the composition is created, that it's not about winning or losing, it's just about existing on the cart for long stretches of time. So we are going to see this fight start to take place, and they're just losing. Like, it's all red through the kill feed. Again, big res. Important that I think reses are on the highest HP target, and it's great if you get a residual res, specifically for like a very control and fatigue-esque composition that LGD is running. It's very important for them to res high HP targets, so again, you clog up the payload. You don't let them move around, and it's working. They started with 5 minutes, and they're already starting to burn down the clock. They've already burned, a minute 20, and they haven't gotten through half of a second yet on Route 66, which is very interesting because I think this composition and the way that they played this could be refined just a little bit more, and I think they've got a really cool idea and very creative idea. But again, if we get this to play, it's all about just stalling the cart. It's about just denying time, denying the cart being pushed, just really clogging up and making the payload very sticky and kind of working off the picks that Sombra and Doomfist can bring. Something that I did find kind of interesting as I was watching this over and over and kind of thinking about the composition itself is I wonder how a Lucio could have fit in here, maybe with a McCree to replace the Sombra, or maybe even the Doomfist, just to add a little bit more. It does add a little bit more control, still kind of gives you that pick element that you're looking for with Doomfist. I think Doomfist right now probably is your best bet, especially on the pre-patch. This isn't the PTR patch that they're playing right now, where the Doomfist hitboxes are still pretty strong. He does just one bang everybody in and under the sun, and his Meteor Strike ultimate is really great at clogging up the cart as well, because if you hit multiple people on the cart, you're going to get a huge shield with his passive, and be, again, a very big kind of tank in a way. But I would like to see what this composition looks like or runs like if you run a Lucio and a McCree, or maybe even a Widowmaker instead of a McCree. I think that would be pretty cool or interesting. But again, another fight's about to break out here on right before third, right at this gate, and they're still ticking down the clock. They're still burning time. Miraculous Youngster finally gets the cart moving, but once they get about here, they engage, and here's another like 45 seconds off the clock. It is pretty unfortunate that this is about to happen. This Sombra does get picked here, which is really not good, and it forces his Zen to burn his ult. And they do use the capability of the EMP, which is really important. If the Sombra stays alive, I think they actually could hold this and push it into overtime going into third, which is really important because third is a huge stretch and is very difficult to push through. But yeah, it's all about just denying time on the cart, denying and making it very sticky around that cart, really clogging up these little choke points and playing around all of the different health packs that are available to them. And again, they're really making these fights pretty close with very low firepower and just working with the tools that they've gave themselves with this composition. It's not really about having the most firepower, being able to hit the hardest. It's about kind of finessing your way around it in kind of like this interesting kind of jiu-jitsu style, where you're not just going for this crazy haymaker punch or this head kick. It's about wrestling them down and kind of controlling them from the ground. Again, Sombra showing that she can just run around on the payload and clog it up just stealth because the monkey is just ulted. So that's cool too. And again, look at the time. They started second with 5 minutes, and now they're down to 2 minutes. It's proven to be pretty successful, right? Like, they don't have a ton of they've burned a ton of time, and if they refine this down a little bit more, I think that they really could have something pretty interesting here. I think it would be interesting to see what other maps they decide to pull this out on. But that's all I have for you today, folks. I'll leave some links down below. Check out some of my written work. Check out some of my graphics. Let me know if you like them, and follow me on Twitter @Volamel. And you guys have a good day. Thanks so much for watching.